technology that we've been working on over the last 12 months gives you an idea where we're heading. And to do this, I'd like to introduce Burr Sutter from our product management team. Burr, come on up. Thank you. Rock and roll.
All right. So thank you guys very much for your time and attention today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do a live demonstration. We're going to take advantage of this Wi-Fi conference. We're going to, in other words, the conference Wi-Fi. We're going to have people on 3G, 4G. We're going to have people in the audience interacting with our demonstration. So we're gambling every possible way we can. All right. So we're going to have some fun with that. So what we've done is, you guys have just heard about BRMS, JBoss BRMS, and you guys also heard about EAP6. And if you heard about the announcement this morning, EAP6 running at OpenShift, we thought, you know what, with all that brand new stuff we just announced yesterday and today, let's build a demo out of that and see if we can run it live for everybody here in the audience today. So that's what we've done. We've actually put BRMS on EAP6 up at OpenShift, and then we've extended that business rule application, that business process application, to mobile applications that some of you now are running on your phone here in the audience. So we had Steve and James walk around earlier recruiting sales staff from the audience. You guys were either downloading the application or accessing the mobile web side of the application. And so you're going to get a chance to interact with us later on as we get through this. You should keep in mind that with BRMS, we have a modeling environment that we're going to show you a little bit more. We also have the mobile application to interact with it. And then we have a monitoring environment we're going to show you as well. So this is going to be very exciting for us on the stage as well as for all of you as well, I hope. So let's get started. So Chris right here is our JBPM project lead. He's been the key guy driving our adoption of BPM 2 and standards-based business process development, getting that integrated with the business rule system. So we're very excited to have you, Chris. So Chris, can you tell us a bit more about what you see in BRMS 5.3? What do you think is new and cool about BRMS 5.3?
Yeah, so one of the new things that we introduced in BRMS 5.3 is the support for business processes. So that means that you can now use business processes to model, deploy, execute, and manage your business logic. So that includes support for the BPM 2 standard, adaptive and flexible processes, etc.
So what's really neat about that is we actually have holistically pulled all this together in one single package, one single product. Can you show us more of that technology?
Yeah, sure. So what I'm showing here is actually the BRMS web-based application. And as you can see, we have support for multiple types of business logic or business assets. So there's things like business rules, which in this case is a simple web-based decision table. You can define your domain model. You have business processes. There's also other assets like task forms that could be included, etc. And so all of that managed in one application. And if you want to start developing your business processes, so I can show you here I just created a new business process, and I can just start dragging and dropping from the building blocks from the palette on one side and start filling in the implementation details in the properties. So for example, let me just start with a simple process. There's a start event, and then let's assume that the first thing that I want to do is some evaluation of some business rules, for example. So I can then create a new task, and I can create a business rule task, and then I can fill in some details, specify what rules need to be evaluated, but then afterwards I can do a decision or a parallel gateway. So in this case, I'm going to do some things in parallel. For example, let's assume that your process includes a business user, an end user who needs to participate in the process. There's also specific types for that, so you can use a user task for that. There's a lot of default building blocks that are available out of the box, things like timers, so you can escalate, etc. So you can just use the building blocks, fill in all the necessary execution details, and you have an executable business process.
Well, you know what's neat about this is you're sitting here in the web browser, designing, dragging, and dropping these symbols on screen, putting the lines together, and that's an executable business process.
Yeah, exactly. So we see these as a collaboration environment where our business analysts, end users can collaborate with developers on creating this business logic and ending up with something high level, but which is executable as well.
Well, you know what's interesting about that to me personally is JBoss has always been about, for the Java programmer, we've been very focused on Java programmers, but in this case, non-Java programmers can be involved in the design of the business process and the design of the business logic.
Exactly.
Can you show us the business process we're going to be using here in the demonstration today?
Yeah, so for the demo today, we actually created a simple process. So some of you have received a card, and you'll be participating in this application. You'll be buying stuff from the JBoss toy store. So each order that comes in will then be managed by this process. And so this process, first it does some initialization. We're going to then do a risk assessment. So that means that based on some rules, we're going to decide whether the order that is coming in is either a high risk or a low risk order. Then the order will go through a review phase, so there will someone be looking at it and either approving or rejecting it. And if it is a high-risk order, in this case, we're going to delegate it to our VP as well, because we want to make sure that those those important orders get additional attention. And so that, Jay over there, he's our VP today, he will be managing that. And so for those who will be participating in the game, it's probably important to know the rules of the game. So the way that we implemented it now is that all orders above $500 will need this additional review. And it might be also important to know that Jay will be rejecting any orders above $3,000. So if you're participating in the game, make sure you take that into account.
So I see the design of the flows. I can understand how this thing moves from end to end, but where are the actual business rules where we define the $500?
Yeah, so you can see I'm using a business rule task here, which is actually referencing some rules. In this case, we used a simple web-based decision table. So this web-based decision table, it's a relatively simple one. It's going to decide whether you're either high risk or low risk, based on, in this case, only the amount of the order, but you could easily extend that to take other things into account. So you can see that orders between 0 and 500 are considered low risk, and orders above 500 are considered high risk.
So what you're telling me here is we have a spreadsheet-looking thing, and we have this diagram-looking thing, and that's the business logic for our application.
Yeah, all of this is fully executable.
Well, I want to compile some code. Well, I guess we'll have to worry about that some other way. But so we have the business logic defined here, and so you can see how it's done in the spreadsheet. You can see how it's done in the workflow. But what we've done is we've extended this business process out of the cloud to the computer in your pocket. So we've extended it to the mobile application. So let's talk more about that mobile application. So thank you very much, Chris. So now we're going to talk to Jay. Jay is the lead of our AirGear project, and Jay has some specific mobile devices over here to show us today. Jay, what do you got for us over here?
So as Chris and Burr both mentioned, a few of you were recruited to be our salespeople today. And you received a card like this that had a couple of links on it. One link is to a mobile web application that you can bring up on any smartphone. The other was to an enterprise app store offering called AppBlade from one of our partners. And that you would have seen a screen that looks a lot like this, where it does device detection and you're able to actually install a native application that we created onto your phone.
It looks like it has Android support, iOS support.
And BlackBerry support as well.
Okay.
And you're able to manage those versions.
This being an iPad here you see on screen, it only allows me to install the iOS device, but we can install Android as well.
Yep.
How many people here got that card and are actually part of our sales team today? Because we don't know who you are. Raise your hand, please. All right, fantastic. So thank you very much.
Excellent. So another part of AppBlade is the console where you're actually able, where managers and IT departments are actually able to provision those applications, manage the users, manage the versions, who has access to what. And as we can see here, we actually have 28 total people who have installed the application, 14 on iPhone, 12 on Android, and you can give it different permissions and details and drill into different things.
Well, one thing I like about this, for those of you guys who now are our temporary sales staff we recruited today, at some point we may have to fire you guys, in which case, if you're not performing well, that's what happens, and then guess what? We take your app away. So with this enterprise app store, we're not dealing with iTunes necessarily, we're actually dealing with our own internal application, as you guys were recruited to run our internal application.
Right. This application was actually signed with Red Hat's own Apple Enterprise Developer Certificate, and that means that we can install it without iTunes. You can manage it internally, but it also means that we can shut it off, and so we'll be doing that after the demo today.
We'll be shutting it down later today. So let's talk more about the application, though, that interacts with the business process. So this is how we provision the app to those people here in the audience who downloaded the app using that QR code we provided.
Right.
But what does it mean to show the client side of it? What is the salesperson actually interacting with? What is his application? It's on the iPhone right here.
Right, exactly. So here we have my iPhone, and I've actually installed that native application. And we wrote this native application using HTML5 and jQuery Mobile. And we extended the rules from jBPM, expose those through RESTful services, and then access those with jQuery from the phone. Now, we also then use, which works, by the way, that works great for mobile web, but we also took it and used Apache Cordova to actually create that native application that you downloaded, all from the same code base.
So we have one code base, HTML5, basically an HTML5 application, pushed through Cordova, and interacting with the RESTful services up in the cloud on OpenShift, running with BRMS and EAP6, as you see those guys running over there.
Yep.
Can you show us how this application actually works?
Yeah, sure. So all I did is started to view my catalog. I'm going to put in a couple of orders here, selecting different options. It's kind of a typical workflow for a shop. right?
Add it to your cart, place the order.
Exactly.
And you can also see, funny enough, that several more people have downloaded the app here just recently. You can see the numbers going up.
Perhaps we've intrigued some people.
Exactly. You guys want to run this application now, don't you?
Exactly. So we also have some Red Hat gear. We have Aero gear, water bottles, and Arai hoodies. And
yeah, everyone needs more hoodies and water bottles, that's for sure. Let's get some of those in our shopping cart.
Yep.
Do we have some high-dollar items in there as well?
Yeah, let me
I could use a new phone. My phone's sitting over there. It's busted, so maybe we can get me a new phone. But so we can take more orders into the system, but what happens once those orders start hitting the system? What basically do we start seeing happen there?
Right, so what happens once those orders are actually in the system is that it goes through those rules that we used that we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. So if it's under $500, those rules get applied and that first level approval takes care of it. If it doesn't, if it's above $500, the VP actually has to manage those. And this is the VP interface to that same application, written with the same technology.
Same architecture, HTML5 on the client side, interacting with RESTful services on BRMS and the AP6.
That's right. And so I'm able to view any open orders that happen to be there.
So we have to look for some large orders. We don't have any large orders in the system right now. We'll have to take some more orders as we go. But the VP will approve those, and if the VP is keeping up, then we'll see those orders flowing through the system.
That's right.
Now, once the VP approves those, we're working our way through that workflow diagram you saw earlier. Where does the data go then?
So at that point, the data actually triggers events on the server side, and we have up here our Leaderboard application, which was written with one of our projects, Arai, which takes advantage of GWT to actually create a client and server-side distributed application that can be programmed using one programming model, the Java EE6 programming model.
So what's really interesting about the Arai technology, taking advantage of Google Web Toolkit, again, with the E6 programming model with CDI eventing on the server side, as things are changing within that business process, those are business events that are occurring that are being analyzed and pushed dynamically out to the browser. So as you guys are putting orders into the system, and Jay can put in some more orders and approve some orders, you will actually see those charts changing in real time. You also see how many people we have signed up. We have approximately 26 signed up on either side of this now. So we have the East Coast over here, that's this side of the audience. We have the West Coast over here, that's this side of the audience. So that's hopefully you guys logged in on the correct side. That was explained to you. You didn't think, left versus right, I don't understand. So we have about equal numbers of people. And you can see that we already have some orders in the system. Jay has actually processed $524.98 already.
Right.
So you can see that pushing into the system.
And now that I actually submitted that other order, I am actually able to approve that order as the VP. I can tell whether or not I want to approve it. I can either approve or reject it. So when I do that, you just saw the leaderboard over here jump up.
Okay.
With a different value because I've actually approved that
So
order.
you can see Jay's in the lead early on with $1,824.96. Now, some of you guys are wondering, wait a second, I thought I was a sales rep. We were hired. I can't play with this application right now. That's because we don't allow you in just yet. So how many people are sitting there going, hey, this thing's not working right now? So here's what we're about to do. So Jay, we're good. So we have a vice president. We've shown you the business process. We've shown you the business rules and the actual application. At this point, the store is open to all those sales reps we have in the audience. So if you guys would go ahead now and start looking at the shopping cart items, you will see the things in the catalog. Maybe you want a new iPhone, or maybe you want a Samsung phone, or you might want the iPad that's in there. Or specifically, you might want to, you got to get those T-shirts and hoodies. And my favorite one is the Code Thug sleeveless tee. Everybody wants to buy one of those and give it to me. Right, so I really want that one. So we'll see people making orders now. You can see Matt D has jumped up to second place right behind Jay Balunas over here on the east side. So Jay is still leading with $1,824 on the east side. On the west side, you got me over here at $749, but certainly Craig has got in for $499, and Jay Battisti, $499. So a lot of $499s. I know what product that is in the catalog. But keep in mind, what you guys are doing is our extended sales team. You guys are making orders, so you're out there visiting our customers, putting orders in the system, and interacting with our customers, and what you're going to really do is give this away, and that's why we have this approval workflow that has to occur. So a simple shopping cart application, like you would see at Best Buy or Walmart or any other mobile web application or mobile application, and then you can see those orders flowing into the system. So some people are moving along here. You can see that Craig has now moved to first place on the west side with $1,999. Well, and then looks like I keep ordering as well, so I'm doing really well at $1,249. I like how the meters turn and all that. So this is an HTML5 web-based application. So in real time, we're driving it, showing you the interactions that are coming in through the Wi-Fi, through the 3G, depending on how you guys are connected, and then pushing those orders into our system now. So it's all going up to OpenShift, going up to BRMS. It's going up to AP6, running in the cloud, and then coming back down on stage and pushing through these laptops right here. You'll notice we run our Windows 7 leaderboard over here. We have our Linux leaderboard over here for the central, the global, and then you can see a Mac leaderboard also. So an HTML5 application, fully portable across multiple operating systems, taking advantage of that array technology in this leaderboard. So we certainly have a lot of people now putting orders into the system. You can see them flowing in. But we notice we have a rather large backlog forming. So right here, we're at $27,000, it looks like. So we seem to be a backlog. And of course, this is money, right? We want to know where the money's going. So let's see if we figure that out. Chris, can you tell us where that backlog is?
Yes.
So here on laptop 2.
Yeah, so we're actually seeing that there's a large backlog building up. And, well, we want to figure out what's actually going on. So we can go to the process designer in this case, and we're going to show you a view of the process diagram, but annotated with where all these orders are sitting. So as you can see, well, there's been over 100 orders currently in the system, like 71 already went through, but there's something blocking here. You can see that there are actually 30 orders waiting for the VP review. So Jay, have you actually been doing anything?
So he wants to make sure he wins the game. So what basically happened here, we just gave you a few moments, and you already pumped in 122 orders into the system. We have our visual process monitor here, so just like the process diagram, we can see where the problem is. There's the bottleneck. How do we fix that bottleneck? Do we got to fire our vice president? Maybe hire another one?
Well, in this case, what we actually realize is that all you guys are ordering items which are more than $500. Jay basically cannot keep up. So maybe we should change our business process. So maybe we should only do more important orders and channel those to Jay and more automatically process some of those.
Yeah, that would be very important. If there's a way to change the business process and business rules without having to write a bunch of code and change that, because compilation can be tough for me. So let's see what we can do here.
Yeah, so as I showed, there was a web-based decision table that we were using to define this. So I can actually dynamically change this and then say, let's, for example, make sure that only orders which are above $1,500 would go to Jay in this case. So I can just edit this in the web-based editor. I can save my changes, and I can push these into production, so the new rules will be applied.
So what you're telling me is we change a spreadsheet, we change the logic. We don't have to recompile a bunch of code. We just change the spreadsheet, change the logic, and push that back into production. So that changes the game for those of you participating right now. You guys can keep entering orders, but now you can go up to, let's say, $14.99 before that VP level kicks in. And of course, we'll wake up our VP, hopefully, and he'll start approving those orders more quickly. But you can see some people have kind of figured out this game, and we have our grand totals over here. Let's see, on the east side, west side. And so we can see in our grand total screen right now, Craig is the total leader. Tony S. is the second place. In second place right now. They're really close, neck and neck. So you can see that they're really pounding the orders in. We have Jay Howell coming in third place. Jim Terrell, well, Bruno. You can see this is dynamically changing the leader as it goes. So you guys can hopefully understand what we're trying to do with the business process. And so we do have to kind of wrap things up, but I'm really excited to see how this game is working right now. So at this point, we have to end our quarter. The sales quarter is done. We have to declare an end to it. We've got to do our financial records. The game is over. So we declare the game over, and hopefully we'll figure out exactly who our winner is in this case. So looks like Craig, 155, you're our #1 sales rep. Team East was the top team. And also you'll notice that we have several winners we picked randomly from the contestants today. So Craig, can you come on down? Craig, 155, who was that? Here in the audience. Come on, you jog on down here. You're way in the back there, fantastic. So Craig, like it is in a lot of sales organizations, he's our top sales rep. He gets promoted, right? You're going to get promoted. You're going to be our vice president today. So as our vice president, you get to have the vice president's mobile device. So thank you very much for that. Fantastic. Thank you.
Good job.
For those of you who see your name up here, we do have a prize for you. Come see myself or John Atkins at the end. We have a gift certificate for those people who participated, put some orders in the system. We randomly picked winners to encourage those people to participate. Thank you guys very much. Chris Kennedy, Maria, Bruno, Chris Gibbs, and Peru. Now, at this point, we've wrapped up our game. I want to tell you guys thank you very much for the short time we've spent with you here on the live today. We ran the app and made it all work. That's fantastic. So it's always good to see when it runs. And one thing I want to make sure we wrap up with is what we really worked on here was the integration of business processes, business rules, and business events. You saw all that happen here in this one application. You saw the interaction of mobile devices interacting with the cloud with BRMS and EAP there. So this is the Intelligent Integrated Enterprise, and that was our focus of this demonstration, was to prove that point. So hopefully you guys like that. Thank you guys very much for your time. At this point, we'd like to welcome Dr. Mark Little on the stage. He's the leader of our R&D department for JBoss. Thank you very much, Mark. Come on.